The back road. My first car finally called it quits. After 7 years of loyal service, it was time to say goodbye. My parents had bought it for me as a graduation gift, a typical used sedan, nothing fancy, but it was mine. We'd been through a lot together, and I felt the pain of sadness letting it go. But times are tough, and I needed a replacement that fit my budget. Scrolling through endless listings online, the options were looking pretty bleak. That was until I stumbled upon a sedan similar to my old one, and within my price range. The catch? It had a salvage title. The car had suffered significant damage in the past and was written off by the insurance company. The seller claimed it was repaired and had passed all the necessary safety inspections. I'd heard buying salvage cars was always a gamble, but it was the best option I had. After mulling it over, I decided to check it out. The dealership was only a few towns over, not too far. I asked my buddy Mike if he could give me a ride there after work. He agreed, and we planned to head out the next day, knowing we'd have to hustle since the shop closed 2 hours after Mike's shift ended. Mike picked me up after work, and we hit the highway. He mentioned that there was a scenic route through the back roads that led to the dealership, but it would take much longer.
It's usually empty out there,
he said.
But some people say it's haunted.
I chuckled, raising an eyebrow. Haunted? Really? Mike shrugged.
Yeah, there was a big accident on one of those roads years ago. They say if you drive down it at night alone, a ghost will haunt you or something.
I laughed it off, calling it just another urban legend. We got to the dealership with a little over an hour before closing. A stereotypical car salesman greeted us, eager, overly friendly, and pushing for the sale. The car looked decent on the outside, and the interior was clean. I asked for a test drive, and the salesman handed over the keys with a smile that said, "Let's seal the deal." Mike and I took it for a spin, and while we weren't car experts, it seemed fine enough. Back at the dealership, the salesman went into full sales mode, brushing off concerns about the car's salvage title.
It just had some front-end damage and a busted windshield,
he assured us, waving his hand dismissively.
All fixed now, and it passed inspection. No worries.
He threw in the classic line about another interested buyer coming tomorrow, pressure tactics at their finest. Despite my reservations, I decided to go for it. I'd always wanted to buy a car on my own, and this was my chance. After signing the paperwork and handing over the money, the car was officially mine. Mike wanted to do some shopping in town, so I decided to drive home alone in my new ride. As I neared the highway, I noticed a huge traffic jam. It looked like there had been an accident up ahead. Not wanting to wait, I remembered the scenic route Mike mentioned and decided to take it. The back roads were quiet and peaceful, a nice change from the hectic city traffic. I synced my phone to the car's stereo and played some relaxing music, enjoying the drive. I was about halfway home when my phone died, cutting off my music. I reached for the radio, but it crackled and went silent. Great, I muttered, thinking about the risks of buying a salvage car. I fiddled with the stereo, but then I heard it, a faint whisper from the back seat. My heart skipped a beat. I spun around, but no one was there. I laughed it off nervously, telling myself it was just the radio acting up. But then I saw it, a woman's face in the rearview mirror, sitting in the back seat. I slammed on the brakes, my heart racing. I looked again, and she was gone. "Get it together," I whispered, trying to calm down. But as I kept driving, the radio flickered back on. It cycled through stations before settling on a static-filled voice pleading,
"Help me."
I gripped the steering wheel tighter, my knuckles white. I had to keep going. I pressed the gas pedal harder, speeding down the empty road. I told myself I was almost home, just focus on the road. But then, up ahead, I saw her again, standing in the middle of the road. She raised her arm and pointed at me with an eerie slowness. I swerved around her, not daring to stop. I glanced at the passenger seat and nearly screamed. She was there, sitting right next to me, head down and hands in her lap. I was paralyzed with fear but somehow kept driving, my eyes fixed on the road. I was so close to the highway exit, just 2 miles left. Those 2 miles felt like a lifetime. Finally, the The ghostly figure vanished just as I reached the exit ramp. Relief washed over me as I saw other cars on the highway. I let out a shaky breath, my body still tense. I pulled into my driveway trying to make sense of what happened. Did I just have some kind of breakdown? I plugged in my phone and called Mike, but he didn't answer. I searched online for any stories about the road, but nothing came up. I was able to find several terrifying stories about another road near my area. Then, something dawned on me. Mike had mixed up the haunted roads. I looked out at my car parked in the driveway, my heart sinking as I saw a ghostly figure sitting in my passenger side seat. I realized the truth. It wasn't the road that was haunted. It was the car.
Thank you for listening to this terrifying twist tale. Please support this channel by liking and subscribing.